The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. At sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app today and use promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. And we're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOPBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really Ralph, and then Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Whoa, that's an awkward pause there. Hey, StreamYard, what's going on? Let's try that again. No. Do you hear, Scott? You don't hear the drop? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, okay, all right. So I guess we don't have drops today. Whatever. I was evilly laughing because, while the Pelicans, never even close. Never even close.
I can try, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're having some technical difficulties on StreamYard with the sound effects. And Terrell's now lagging. So, I don't know what's going on. What's up, everyone? A lot of games on the card today. Got 13 games. So, Terrell and I are going to cover them. We're going to cover each of them. But before we end up doing that, do want to at least talk a little bit about the games that happened yesterday.
That was a random refresh StreamYard. Hey, I ain't even pressing it. It just, StreamYard just said, you know what? You talking crap about us. We finna refresh your screen and make it work. That's what we finna do.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Let me try. There we go. There's your.
Nobody had faith in the Pacers, man. I ain't had that much faith in them too, but I sure took that +5. Appreciate that. Hey man. All I got to say before I formally introduce my co-host is that, I think it's hilarious when cats be getting mad, like when cats really be getting mad at you at hooping. The first thing they say is, be humble. Be humble. Hey, be humble, man. Just be humble with it and enjoy all your success, but just be humble with it. The first thing they say when they get mad is be humble. Hey, when Hallie hit that Dame time.
The hesitation though, the walk pause to look at the watch though, that was really like a subtle detail that I really appreciated.
Hey man, Dame went in there. Dave said, hey, man, I'm happy for him. Just be humble. He told that man to be humble. Oh, man. This is literally hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. Shout out to you. Give me a pronunciation of your name in the chat. I appreciate it. You know exactly who I'm talking to. But just drop a pronunciation of your name in the chat, and then I'm going to shout you out. Appreciate you for rocking with the show. We are not old men. Scott might be.
I might be. I'm old at heart. I hate every coach, so I'm old at heart. But I'm only 20.
Man. All right, Scott Studio Reichel, people. Scott, what's going on, man?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. It was pretty fun watching one of those two games. The other game was horrible. We'll talk about that in a second. But good for the Pacers. They're a team that has a lot of two-way guys that want the 500K, and they came out and looked like a team that wanted it. Now, Milwaukee, I'll give them props for showing up for the second half. Problem was they no-showed the entire first half, so it just looked like they were disinterested. I hated the start time of the game, and I mentioned it. I think it was
at 5 o'clock on the East Coast.
It's 2 p.m. local time in Vegas on a Thursday. Like I don't understand the thought behind that. And it's one thing if you wanted to go back to back to try to avoid competing with the NFL. I don't know why you'd want to avoid competing with the Patriots Steelers, but the point is, the argument was, well, maybe they'll have the second game at 5 o'clock local time, and they'll go from there. They didn't even do that. They just had extra time off in between the games, so I don't really know what the scheduling purpose was. And
well,
it looked
I do
like
get the time off. I do get the time off because they wanted to get TNT their pregame
yeah,
show.
okay. I
So
forgot they changed
TNT
network.
had ESPN had their, and first of all, best thing ESPN did, best ESPN broadcast all year is when they brought on the TNT folks. Best
I thought
ESPN
Reggie Miller was solid in the broadcast.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, man. When they brought the TNT folks on, it really took them to another level, which just shows the gap between the two broadcast companies when it comes to their NBA content. But yeah, man, I think that they just wanted to make sure TNT got their own pregame show where they could bring Stephen A on and do all that stuff. But it was still a really weird start time. But I'm just glad that I didn't have to wait to the middle of the night to see the end of the Lakers game. I actually only had to wait to about halfway through the second quarter to see the end of that game. So
there was a book that gave out a live bet on that game, and I ended up taking LeBron under 1.5 turnovers at halftime at like plus 125. And then he just didn't play the fourth quarter. he finished with 0. So that worked out well. But we'll talk about the Pelicans game in a second. For the Pacers, Halliburton's a star. There's not really much more to add there. I know that you can make an argument that the Sabonis trade for Halliburton was a fair trade where both teams won.
Bro, the Pacers won.
I get you can make the argument that both teams, at least in the short term, got better. But a long term, Indiana clearly won this trade. Like, I don't think it's close.
I remember when we saw the trade, and when the trade happened, we both said, dang, I feel like both teams won the trade. Now, what is this, a year?
I was always leaning more towards the Pacers because I thought Halliburton had a certain gear, and I wondered how far Sabonis would push this team, the Kings. And to be honest, they've been very good. They made the playoffs, but they've also not won a single playoff series as they got buried on their home floor in Game 7 of Golden State. So I'll tell you right now, if the Kings don't need to win a title to make this closer, at least win a series. Because if you trade away a top 3 point guard in the league for the next 8 years and you don't win a single playoff series, people are going to remember this as being a pretty lopsided trade. I'm assuming you'd agree with that.
Yeah, but that also has to be indicative of Hallie making the playoffs as well. Now, it looks like he's in position to do that this year, but we know how teams can be in the second half of the season. So I think that's also indicative of Hallie making the playoffs. But I was sitting there last night talking to my homeboy, who's also a Knicks fan, and I'm like, dang, man, we really
you were reminiscing about the draft?
Yeah, because I really was sitting there like, yo, if we reached for Holly at, what was it, 7 that year, 8, something like that, I'm like, I wouldn't even be mad if we reached for him, but I just wanted to make sure we got him. And we had a second pick. And so it was like, dang, we could get him with that first one. They got Obi. I was like, all right, cool. Let's try to, trade up, get Holly with the second one. And then Holly ended up going to the Kings, and you end up getting Quickly. And I mean, Quickly been cool, but it's like,
we could have had Halliburton's a future potential like best point guard in the league. Like that's
so we could have had him, and then we went and paid a point guard who is good, but probably not as good as Halliburton. So it's like, it is what it is, man. Being a Knicks fan sucks, but we're gonna stop talking about that because we have a 13-game slate.
Well, hang on a second. Before we do that, we have to at least mention in passing what the hell the Pelicans did last night, right? I mean, we got to talk about something with that game.
I'll mention exactly what the Pelicans did last night. Did you hear me mention it? It was. Really
I thought you were going to play.
Here, hold on, wait. I'll do it again. I'll mention what the Pelicans did last night again. Hold on, right here. Did you hear it?
I thought you were going to play the toilet sound drop. It was really perfect for you to put that in.
Nah, man. Because even the toilet sound drop, that means something went in the toilet. They didn't put anything into that game last night.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the game, I know that nobody on the Pelicans showed up, at least the main players. Ingram had 9 points, but Zion looks brutal out there. And we saw it against the Kings, even though they won that game in the quarterfinals. Zion looks out of shape, simply put, and he looks disinterested. And I was high on Zion out of college because I think everybody was. He was incredible at Duke. But I think I'm out on him. It just looks like he doesn't care. And when you pay a guy a lot of money who's not going to change how he feels about the sport itself, it feels like there's just a lack of engagement or respect for the craft, however you want to phrase it. And it looks like Zion's there for the paycheck and he really doesn't care about actually improving his game. That's the only thing I want to say. Zion kind of embarrassed himself out there. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both BI and Zion were thrilled to go to Vegas for the semifinals and then no-showed the game and they lost by 44. I don't think that's a coincidence with the press conference and everything like that. they had a fun time in Vegas, and it looked like they weren't really ready to play basketball. That's all I want to say.
I sat on here on Munaf with Munaf on the show on Monday, and I asked a very valid question. Has anybody ever cashed Zion's points prop? Like, have you ever bet Zion's points prop?
You mean an over? You mean an over? To be clear, you mean an over?
Yes, an over. Yes, because if you've cashed plenty of unders, you've got plenty of unders. But have you ever had an over in cash? I would just like anybody, to send me an over ticket with Zion that cash, because I just can't seem to do it. Clearly, that's what it is. They just look bad, man. There was one point where they came off of Zion to double team a 3-point shooter. Zion got the ball open in the post, and the help defense come over, and he didn't get to the line. Great defense. Defender went straight up. Zion didn't have enough strength to get to the line. I was just like, oh my gosh, bro. I'm so over this cat.
It was a weird game too, because Valanciunas had 1 rebound in the entire first half. So I don't know who did anything in that game.
I told you. That's why I said, let's talk about, you wanted to talk about the Pelicans. Yeah. We'll talk about the Pelicans. This is what the Pelicans did last night.
It was mostly just a Zion take I wanted to get off my chest. I'm out on Zion. I've tried. I really wanted to, but I can't. He just doesn't care enough.
I'm just out on the Pelicans. I can never get this team right. When I bet on them, they lose, and when I don't bet on them, they win.
I'd use the word immature to describe them. I don't think that Ingram and Zion are mentally ready, if capable at all, to lead a team to the promised land, so to speak.
And I hate that this is all going to come back on Willie Green, because I think Willie Green is actually a good head coach. But
at some point, the players have to buy in and show some pride.
Yeah, his players suck. I really hope that the league doesn't hold Willie Green against this run with the Pelicans, with the talent that he has, because the talent is just not there mentally. They're good. They're there basketball-wise, but they're not there mentally at all.
I agree. But anyway, we got 13 games.
Brought to you by BetRivers. BetRivers is available in over 14 states plus Ontario, Canada. BetRivers has some of the best live betting markets when it comes to props, when it comes to sides, totals, all of that stuff. Make sure you lock into BetRivers and all the things that they have to offer. Withdrawing and depositing is super easy on BetRivers. Sign up today, use our link, and get a risk-free bet up to $500. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's got those pick'em scorchers where you can add that contest, add them to that contest. I had LeBron higher points and assists last night. I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought he was going to show out for Vegas because, Bron want to own a team, and he want to own a team in Vegas, so I felt like he was going to show out. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't put that into my handicap with the Lakers winning the game. I guess I just really don't like this Lakers team. But I knew Bron was going to show out. I actually thought Bron was going to get a triple-double. I'm actually kind of upset he didn't get a triple-double. But you know what? It's all right. The Pelicans are trash enough that they didn't make Bron play 4 quarters. So, you know what? Bron, enjoy your day in Vegas. I'll see you on Saturday. We'll get a triple-double that day for your Vegas team. All right, when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And just remember, Saturday, we are all over LeBron James. It's Bron in Vegas. Always bet Bron in Vegas. All right, Scott, let's get through this. 13 games on the slate. Let's kick things off with this 7 p.m. on the East Coast. First game on the docket I got is the Philadelphia 76ers welcoming the Atlanta Hawks back to Philadelphia. Open up is -6.5. It is currently sitting at -8 for the Philadelphia 76ers. 241 is the total. And interesting enough, that actually dropped from 244.5 to 241. Injury report for these two teams, and this is probably why it dropped, because for the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young is questionable with an illness, and for the 76ers, actually nothing to report there, so a full staff 76ers squad. Last game out for the 76ers, they went toe-to-toe with the Wizards, where, like I said, the Wizards give you this random game against 76ers where they really, really get up for this game and really, really make it a close one. And that's what it was this last time out for the 76ers. A whole bunch of points scored. Meanwhile, for the Atlanta Hawks, they lost to the Brooklyn Nets by 1. Shout out to Brooklyn Nets for covering as a dog for us there. Scott, you're getting 8 with the Atlanta Hawks on the road playing the Philadelphia 76ers. Which way are you going?
I feel like the Sixers are off a 50-piece from Embiid, but a reminder, they didn't cover that game against Washington. Shout out to them, though. I had the all-team total over at 129.5, and they got there, finished with 131. Atlanta, do I think they have any chance of guarding Embiid? Probably not. Do I think that if Trae doesn't play, it might be a sneaky get-up spot for this Hawks team? Yes, I think it is. So I'm going to lean to the 8 with Atlanta. I recognize Philly's the better team, but I do think that Atlanta is feisty enough to hang in there and keep this game somewhat respectable. It was a road game against Washington, I get it, but they kind of needed all 50 from Embiid. They really didn't look great in that game. You're looking at Atlanta, though. They have not been great recently, defensively especially, but offensively, they're okay. I think DeJounte almost had a triple-double last game against the Nets. I think DeJounte is going to have a good game, so I look for his props, but I know Trae's a great scorer, but he's a terrible defensive player, and I am wondering if the Hawks will look a little bit better defensively with added length because Trae, we know, is one of the smaller guards in the league. I'm going to lean to Atlanta. I think a lot of people are blindly going to take Philly in this spot, but I think it's a decent spot for Atlanta to surprise Philly. Maybe Philly sees that Trae's not going to play, gets a little bit complacent, lets an underwhelming team hang around, and suddenly you have a game in the fourth quarter. That's the script I'm anticipating, so I'm going to lean to the Hawks +8. It's a little tricky, but that's how I'm leaning.
Do the Hawks suck?
I don't think they're that good. I thought they'd be a lot better.
Is this a playoff team?
I think right now, assuming with the current health they have now, assuming Trae plays in this game, let's assume that he plays, I think they are a play-in team.
I'm saying this because if you look, last 5 games, they're 1-4 straight up. Their only win is a 2-point win against the San Antonio Spurs. Other losses are a 1-point loss to the Nets, an 11-point loss to the Bucks, a 23-point loss to the Cavs, and a 10-point loss to the Celtics. I'm just trying to figure out how I can take this Hawks team.
Well, the argument, I guess, is do you want to be laying 8 points with Philly?
I mean, I feel Philly's been pretty decent. 13-7 against. Yeah, I feel comfortable. Give me the 8 with Philly. I'm not taking this Hawks team. 13-7 against the spread this season. Hawks 5-15. I talked about what they've done in the last 5 games. They haven't been competitive against anybody but one of the worst teams in the league, which is the San Antonio Spurs. This team might not just might not be good. Like they actually just might not be good. And Philadelphia is actually like one of the best teams in the league. So I'm going to just trust the best team and just go ahead and win by margin. Like it looks like anybody else of any level of competition, they're getting dogged by. So they haven't covered in any of the last 5 games. I'm not interested in this Hawks team. Just give me Philly -8. I hate that I'm getting the worst part of the number, but it just feels like a better play for me.
It might be a hot take by me, but I just have a feeling that Atlanta, who's given Philly some problems in the past,
They have.
the playoff series a couple years ago, I think that their pace can give Philly some issues. So I'm going to lean to the Hawks, but I'm not going to bet it.
Let's see here. We have Philly has covered the last 2 meetings. And Atlanta, so Atlanta has covered, it looks like Atlanta's covered 1 of the last 4. But these have still been some closer games. Like you got a 10-point win by Philly in here. Well, that's not a closer one. And the 14 one is not a closer one. But you got a 1-point win by Atlanta. You got a 5-point win by Philly, a 3-point win by Philly. Like there's been some, I get what you're saying. I got to take this year into account. And
I get it. You want to fade a team that you can't really trust. I get it.
Yeah. I expected more from Quinn Snyder. I really did.
I.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good comp, but they're like I can't say that they're a worse version of the Kings, but they're a team that just doesn't believe in defense. They're a worse version of the Pacers.
Said it.
I said the Pacers. I think it's a great comp.
You said they're a poor man's Pacers, and I was like, poor man, because I thought the Pacers were still a paper.
But you see it now.
But yeah, now I see it. I get it. Now I see it. All right. 241 is total.
If Trae's not playing, though, that has to benefit the under, right?
Philly's good defensively. Give me the under.
I'm going to go with the under anyway, because Trae is a guy who can score a lot of points, or he doesn't guard anybody. So no matter how he impacts the game total-wise, he's great for overs, because he's basically a traffic cone. And Maxey would go by him every single play. So I'm going to lean under in this one.
Yeah, give me that Hawks team total under. I think even if the script goes the way you say, I think it's because the Hawks stepped up defensively. I don't think it's because the Hawks were able to go out there and score a whole bunch of points on this Philly defense. So I like Hawks team total under. I think either way, Philly -8, Hawks +8, you still get that Hawks team total under.
Do you think Embiid's going for 40 again? I kind of like a Maxey pivot, to be honest. I think Maxey might go for like 35. I feel like a lot of people are blindly going to take Embiid because of the heater he's on. I wonder if Atlanta considers double teaming. Maybe they'll try some different looks, but it wouldn't shock me if Maxey had himself a great game tonight.
I really want to root for a Kelly Oubre game. I'm not sure if I'm there yet, but I really want to root for one.
I told you I'm going to wait a while for Oubre props because even though
he was
back,
so good
I
for that
got to see
accident,
more.
man. He was so good for the accident.
But the point is, I came back immediately after the accident. I have to wait it out.
I know. All right. Well, last year this would have been a toilet bowl. This year it looks a little bit different. We got the Orlando Magic laying 10.5 against the Detroit Pistons. Actually opened up -13. Now it's 10.5. 228.5 is total. Injury report real quick for these two teams, and I have for the Detroit Pistons, Joe Harris questionable, Jalen Duren is out, Monty Morris is out, and for the Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac both out. That is huge defensively. I'm going to let you know right now. That is two big outs defensively. Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter Jr. are still out. I mean,
what's the counter at? We're at 18? Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Pistons, by the way. They were 2-1 to start the year. Shout out to them. Haven't won since, but they started off 2-1, so they got that going for them.
And they were 3-0. They were 3-0 ATS during that span too. Like they lost to Miami by 1 that first game out.
What happened last game? They gave up 49 to Desmond Bane, right? They gave up 49 to Bane last time out.
Yeah.
Can you take the Magic? The argument against the Magic would be, well, defensively they might be in shambles because they're missing.
Yeah, like can you take them if they're not playing good defense? Can you take them to cover this?
I don't think the Pistons can guard anybody. Like that's the problem too. So if you want to take the Pistons, I wouldn't mind maybe a team total over because the Pistons can get there while also giving up 130, and that way you still win. I can't go against the Magic. I can't do it. Banchero at 40+ last game. I still like this Orlando team a lot. Yes, I know that they kind of no-showed the first half of that Cavs game, but they battled a little bit, made it somewhat respectable, still lost the game pretty handily, but whatever. Point is, I do think that the Pistons, until they win a game in general, I just can't back this team. Orlando's a team that I think we both like, and I still think even though Suggs might not play, Isaac might not play, they still have a lot of talent. I can't say the same about Detroit. Monty has done basically nothing with this team, and now Duren's out as well, so they're going to be using Bagley more, and that's a downgrade in itself. I just can't. I think Detroit's an abysmal basketball team. We all think that. I'm going to lean to Orlando. But if you want to take the Pistons in a spot where maybe they score enough points to compete, I don't mind that if you want to take that, but I would rather take Pistons team total over than the +11.
A couple thoughts here. Killian Hayes has somehow made his way back into his Pistons starting lineup. I think when I saw that's really when I should have just been fading the Pistons every time I seen Killian Hayes in the starting lineup. I really think this team is closer to 10 wins. Maybe not at 10 wins, but closer to 10 wins if Marcus Sasser gets literally every single Killian Hayes minutes.
Do you mean 10 wins right now or 10 wins by season?
Close to 10 wins. Like closer. Right now, they're closer to 10 wins if Sasser is playing over Hayes. That's how bad I think Hayes is.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks Hayes is a bad player. I like Sasser. I liked him at Houston.
And he's good. Like he's giving us some good minutes off the bench. Like he's giving us good minutes off the bench.
Simply play. He gives you floor spacing.
So, yeah, I'm with you. Let me just go ahead. I have no idea who's betting Detroit to pull this number down, but have at it. You guys know my favorite play in the game, the gift that keeps on giving, this Atlanta Magic first half.
It didn't work last time out, but it's a good spot for them to get.
Hey, so bounce back. They're good. They're good. And then over 228.5, because Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac is actually like pretty big outs, but like Jalen Suggs especially because he's getting majority of the minutes, and I think you're going to need that for the guard play of this Detroit team. So I think Cade is going to have a pretty solid game. I would say Jalen Ivey has a good game. I mean, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get because they just love Killian Hayes and want to play Killian Hayes so much. But, I mean, I would think Jalen Ivey has a good game as well. Anything else for this one, Scott?
If I was going for anybody on Detroit, I'd probably pick Bogdanovich if I had to pick anybody. But
Oh yeah.
that's basically it. JR was mentioning K double. I might prefer
I like
the
it.
rebounds.
Anytime I like an over game with the Pistons, I like K double.
Yeah, the question is, do I want the assists, though? Because I'm not sure how many people in Detroit can actually shoot. So maybe rebounds is worth a look, especially with Dern being out. There might be some more rebounds up for grabs. But Cade needs to have a big game if they're going to cover. So it is pretty correlated. But I like the over in the game because Detroit, I don't think, can guard anybody. And I do think Orlando's defense will still be fine, but it will take a step back if Suggs and Isaac don't play. So I am going to the over in this game as well.
Hey, man, if y'all are listening, y'all need to make sure y'all hop into the chat. The chat is booming. They got a whole bunch of props going through here. I see some Trae Young props, Clint Capella props, DeAndre Hunter, Maxey and B, Cade Cunningham, Beef Stew. Like, there's a whole bunch of props in here. Make sure you tap in with us. YouTube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast to get into the chat on the next time out. All right, game time. Download Game Time, get tickets without stress, last minute tickets. Hey man, go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. See Hallie versus Braun. Go do that. Go to your local team. Just go visit a game and just get some action on the game and just troll. Just troll people, but be a nice troll. Don't be like one of those weird people that be like, hey, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you and your kids for messing up the parlay. No. But be a nice troll. Be a nice troll. Like, hey, you know what? When I went to the WNBA game and I got my tickets on Game Time, I was standing by the tunnel. And when they came through the tunnel, I was reading off their props. Sabrina, your prop is at 18.5. You got 16. Let's go ahead. Finish strong. But Najalani, you only got 2 points. Your prop's at 9.5. Let's tidy up. Let's get it in the second half. I was motivating them, and it worked. And it's all because I bought the tickets at Game Time. Game Time, promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Make sure you download that Game Time app. Use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bet, sports betting analytics platform, where you can tap into their parlay optimizer tool, where you can get a hit rate on your parlay. Like, they can tell you, break down by leg, you want to see green. When you see green up there, that means that it's a good play and you should consider it. So definitely helps increase the chances of you hitting your parlay. Make sure you tap into the Hall of Fame Bets app. Use that code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use that code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. All right, Scott, let's keep going. We are 2 games down, 11 to go. Next game on the slate, Toronto Raptors. Coming to my city. Shout out to the foe. Charlotte, North Carolina. This is really not my city, but it's like my adopted city. Y'all know I'm 7-5-7 forever. All right, Toronto's laying 5.5 here. Open up -2.5. It's all the way up to -5.5. 222, 222. That's an angel number. 222 is the total. Injury report for these two teams, and I have for the Charlotte Hornets. Mark Williams is questionable with that back injury. We saw him not play last game, and Nick Richards got the start. LaMelo's still out, and we have Christian Coloco still out. Clean injury report for the Toronto Raptors. Shout out to the Toronto Raptors for staying relatively healthy over the course of the season. Hasn't translated into a winning record yet, but they're almost there. They're at 9-12, whereas this Charlotte Hornets team is 6-13. Toronto laying 5.5 on the road. What you doing here?
I think I'm going to lean to Toronto. It's a spot where I know Toronto's not a great team, but they're better than Charlotte, just simply put. Charlotte's shorthanded. Mark Williams is one of their better players. I know Richards had 10 rebounds the last game, but he really doesn't give you much offensively in terms of scoring variety. LaMelo's still out. I don't really see many great playmakers on this team. Rozier can shoot, but I personally think Rozier's better off ball and more of like a three-point shooting environment. Gordon Hayward's kind of a playmaker, but not really. And Bridges tries to get his. I have questions about the ball movement. They don't really have any center depth, and I think that Toronto is the better team. But Toronto's length and versatility can give Charlotte in particular a lot of problems, and I think it's pretty telling the line is going from 3.5 to 5.5. I'm going to lean to Toronto here. I think it's a good spot for Toronto to get back on track against the bottom feeder team, so I'm going to go with Toronto.
Responding to somebody in the chat who was talking about here comes the biased Devin Vassell props. When Devin Vassell has been over his points prop of 17.5 in 1, 2, 3.
Save it for the Spurs game, man.
5.
We're not there yet.
5 of the last 6 games.
We're not there yet, man. You could.
Hey, man, I'm sorry, yo. He tried him. He saved.
Okay.
It's not my fault. It's Khalil's fault. Khalil should have
Right,
brought it up that early. Y'all know that I have ADHD, and I get distracted very easily. So I'm sorry.
Are you trusting your adopted city?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know. This is an ugly game.
It's very ugly.
Because I don't know what to expect from Toronto. I think that's really the question mark that I've been trying to figure out all year is what do I expect from this Toronto team? Because I know that Charlotte isn't that good. But is Toronto decent? Or is Toronto just bad and they had a fast start to the season and this 9-12 stretch that they're on is probably the best stretch that they're going to have? I don't know. I think that they're better than that. I think that they've been doing pretty well. I think the coach has been okay.
What?
Come on, Charlotte. Is Charlotte that bad? They can't cover 5.5 at home against Toronto.
I think they are that bad with the injury report, but remember, it's without LaMelo. So when you say are they bad enough, there is some injury implications there.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I still can't believe Toronto has its
them.
whole team together. They should have traded half the team about a year and a half ago, but whatever.
Yeah, after the Kawhi thing, I think that's when they should have blew it up. And they might be in a better situation now. All right, I guess I'll take Toronto. I don't really like it. I don't have a feel for that one.
I'm not gonna bet this game, but I'm leaning Toronto. I just like their pieces on the roster more than Charlotte's active pieces.
Okay. Yeah. 2-22.
I think I'm going to lean under. I don't trust Toronto with overs because offensively, this team doesn't play fast, and they're not that great in the half court. They're fine, but they don't have many extreme knockdown shooters. Siakam's had a pretty rough year when it comes to shooting. Barnes has gotten better from three. I still don't consider him to be a great three-point shooter. Schroeder's not a great three-point shooter either. He's fine, but he's more of a facilitator. And Charlotte offensively is not great by any means. I'm going to lean under. I think you're going to see a lower scoring game. But it's mostly because I think Toronto has the pieces to shut down the Charlotte offense. So I'm going to lean under in this game.
Yeah, I lean under with you, but I'm concerned that maybe Toronto has one of those weird scoring days. So give me a Charlotte team total under. I like that.
That's fine. All
right. Let's see here. They drop in plays in the chat. I see a Rozier PRA. I see a Siakam over 25, 3 of the last 4 against Charlotte. He's gotten over that 25. Like that. Spicy P, Scotty Barnes always messes up a prop bet. Not always. He's been, but it's definitely sometimes that I'd be like, dang, Scotty sold me today.
I'm a fan of the Scotty Barnes PRA in most games because he can get there in a variety of ways. That's kind of been my go-to prop for Barnes.
Speaking of Scotty, shout out Nicki Minaj dropping an album today.
Are you a serious Nicki Minaj fan?
Not serious.
Okay.
She's actually kind of a messed up person, but when she makes a good song and it's good, I like it.
I think Cardi B might be more of a messed up person, but that's based on the past.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We could.
Oh, come on. She drugged people and stole their money. Come on, man.
If I told you, if I went through the rabbit hole of all the things Nicki Minaj done, it's like, bro, she's just not like. It could be two evils.
that is fair. That is fair. I'm just throwing it out there that Cardi B did drug people and rob people. So, you like you can go either way. But
all right. We got the Brooklyn Nets at home welcoming the Washington Wizards. Nets are laying 9.5. 239 is the total there. Injury report for these two teams. And I got for the Wizards, Daniel Gafford's questionable. Landry Shamet is out, addition by subtraction. You have for the Brooklyn Nets, Lonnie Walker, Ben Simmons, both still on IR. Other than that, clean injury report for them. Is there anything, any way, anyhow that you can take the Wizards?
A part of me is actually tempted to because I don't like laying a lot of points with the Nets. I think the Nets are more built for an underdog role as opposed to a favorite role. And the Wizards were competitive against Philly last time out, even though Embiid had 50. They were competitive against the Nets in Brooklyn a couple weeks ago. They lost the game by 8. But I do think that I actually might lean Wizards here. I think the Nets are, once again, a fine team because they play hard. They're not very talented, but they try very hard. I really don't like laying 9.5 with this team. So I think I'm going to lean with the Wizards here. Might shock you, but I think
What's Cameron doing here? Why is Cameron here?
I don't know if he thought he could sneak up on us, but we see the bottom of the screen, there's another square that opens up. Yeah. So
and then he left.
He just left. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm going to lean Wizards. I might surprise you here, but I don't like laying
Yeah,
9.5
no,
with
you
the
did
Nets.
shock me. You did shock me.
I'm a Nets fan. I prefer them as a dog. I think that most of their games tend to be close because the Nets are not a great fourth quarter team when it comes to closing games out. They can win this game by 20, obviously, but I think Washington can score enough to hang around. So I'm going to lean to the Wizards.
Do you know what the Nets ATS record is right now?
It's very, very good. Let me
15-4-1.
just see how many. The Nets have played 20 games. I'm going to say that they are either 13-7 or 14-6. I'm going to say 13-7.
15-4-1.
That's pretty good.
15-4-1.
I want to know though if they've ever been laying a number this big all season long because I doubt it.
Give me a second. Let me see. Oh wait, that's not the best way to look at this. Okay, I have a better way of finding that out. You go ahead and talk about total while I do that.
Yeah, for the total 240.5, I am going to go over. First meeting between these teams was very low scoring. Very. I do think that was a bit of an outlier. I don't know why that game barely broke 200, if at all. I don't think it broke 200. But I'm going to lean over. I think the pace will be there. I don't know what Cam Thomas was doing last game against the Hawks because he just no-showed the entire game. But Bridges had 30-plus points. He's very solid. I think Cam Thomas gets back on track. But I think the Nets' defense is fine, but it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. And they have played a bit faster than I anticipated. The Wizards play faster than any other team in the league for the most part, besides Indiana. I'm going to lean over. If I think the Wizards keep it close, I actually think they're going to be able to score in this game. So I think it is somewhat correlated. Give me an over. I think the Nets win the game, but I think they probably score 125, 130, and I think this game goes over. So I'm going to lean over, but I do think the Wizards might surprise some people, though. I think they keep it close.
All right. The Nets have been getting a large number 3 times this season. They got 7 against Washington, and they covered 102-94.
They won by 8. Okay.
Yeah, they got 77.5 against Miami, covered 112-97. But I'm pretty sure Miami was missing like Butler out of
Butler didn't play. Yeah, nobody played.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of people missing out of that one. So we could toss that one low key. And then they got 9 against Charlotte, and they lost that one 129-128. So
that was like a week or two ago. That was a high score.
I think 1-1. I think 1-1 is a fair.
You don't think it's pretty telling though for the total that the line has gone up from 236.5 to 239.5, and the first meeting this season didn't even break 197. The first meeting landed 196, and the total's up to 239.5. That's weird, right? Like that's got to be weird. A 3-point line move to the over in the first meeting didn't break 197. I'm on the over. That's very weird.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was on over because Washington defense sucked anyway, but yeah. I'm taking Brooklyn minus 9.5.
All right. I hope you're right. I'm a Nets fan, but I think
I'm just gonna fade your fandom, and we should fade my fandom in this next game because, well, I'm not gonna fade it, but you're probably gonna fade it. New York Knicks on the road, TD Garden, Boston, going to play the Boston Celtics. Celtics open up minus 6.5. They are currently minus 7. 220.5 is total there. Injury report for these two teams, and we got for the New York Knicks nothing. And for the Boston Celtics, nothing, because Kristaps Porzingis is available to return to the lineup after missing the past 4 games. Some background information that you all should know is that the Boston Celtics are currently 8-10-2 against the spread, and they've been very, very bad against the spread since somebody tried to call me out a few weeks ago, and they haven't covered their last 2 games. I think they've only covered 2 of their last or 3 of their last 10, something like that.
You're in a tough spot for this game because you don't trust the Celtics at all, but you don't trust the Knicks either. So you're kind of stuck.
I mean, how many times am I really out here giving out Knicks? Like, legitly.
That's why I was I mean, it hasn't really worked out in times past. That's why I'm wondering. I feel like you're going to lean Knicks.
It's not lean. I mean, no, I'm definitely going Knicks. Like, if I had to pick between the evil of picking the Knicks and the evil of picking the Celtics, I'm 100% picking the Knicks.
It's better for your character anyway, the villain role, if you take the Knicks.
Yeah, which is frustrating because the Knicks were in. I mean, that first game of the season, I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, Boston did Boston things. They found a way to blow the cover. The second game, they really like stepped up and made sure they didn't blow it that time. I mean, if there's anybody I trust, Unfortunately and very weirdly, it's actually Julius Randle. He has really good games against Celtics.
I think you're going to say Brunson.
Nah, Randle has really good games against Celtics.
I will give Randle a shout out though. He had the most efficient 40-something point game of his entire career last time out against the Bucks. Didn't matter, but he still had 40 and change. But he had a good game.
We also have a birthday game, Scott. You want to take a guess?
Birthday.
Yeah. I'm almost 100% positive you're not going to guess right.
Does the guy actually play, or is he a bench player?
He plays. I mean, bench player. Bench player plays. So like, he's not like a bench player that doesn't play. He plays.
All right. I'm gonna go with quickly.
No.
Sam Hauser.
Side of ball. Yes, Sam Hauser has a birthday today.
All right.
Sam Hauser has a birthday today. No props on him out yet, but they'll probably have a 3-point prop. I think his points prop normally be at like 8.5.
I like Sam Hauser as a player. I think he's a very good shooter. I like him as a player.
I think he's only good on the Celtics. I think if he goes to literally any other team in the league, he's not getting any burn. But
I don't know. There's value for 3-point shooters throughout the league. I think that if he just stands, he knows his role. That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
He just looks like a Boston Celtic. Like he just plays Celtic basketball. It feels like he plays Celtic basketball.
Is that a way of calling him pale? Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it could be a way of calling him pale.
Okay.
But I think it's just more of like, I don't know. I get frustrated when I see Sam Hauser hooping because I'm like, it's Sam Hauser, it's the Celtics. Like, of course he's gonna hoop. Like he really spreads the floor for them. He's good. All right. Either way, I'm not taking the Celtics. Like, come on, guys. You should know my character by this point. I'm not doing it. I hate this
I'm
team.
on the fence here because Boston's
Are
undefeated.
you really?
I am, because Boston's undefeated.
I thought you were all over the Celtics. Like, I thought
no,
I was not.
No. I recognize the Celtics are not a great team ATS recently. I don't think the Knicks are that bad. Are they that good? No, but they're fine. I think they're like a middle seed Eastern Conference team, 5 or 6 seed. That's kind of what I'm looking at. But I do think for the spot, I think Boston's going to win. Like, I'm not picking the Knicks to win this game. The question is, do I trust Boston late in the game to actually keep a lead instead of making games interesting? Because you mentioned the first game against the Knicks, they were up by double digits and they blew the entire lead and then had to come back and win the game anyway. So the Knicks though gave up 140. What did they get? 146 against Milwaukee last time out.
Yo, that was crazy.
That was crazy. They couldn't guard anybody the entire game. Who do you think is going to be more motivated off of the quarterfinal loss in the in-season tournament?
The Celtics or the Knicks?
Yeah.
I guess the Celtics, because they really I think the Knicks just be playing with house money, but I think the Celtics really be thinking they're able to win some of this stuff, and they just don't.
I think
the amount of people that thought the Celtics were going to win the in-season tournament because it was a one-game series and they didn't have to worry about going about all this other foolishness, and they still folded. Like, yeah, nah, man.
I know Porzingis might be back and they're a lot better with him, but I wonder if there's going to be a bit of rust since he hasn't played in a couple weeks. I'm going to lean Knicks. These games seem to always be close. I think Boston's going to win, but I think they screw up the cover. Give me Celtics by 5.
Give me a big Emmanuel Quickly game in TD Garden.
Okay.
Yeah. I think give me a big Emmanuel Quickly game. That's how the Knicks keep it close. Emmanuel Quickly comes off the bench for 15 to 20 points, and that's the extra offense that they needed to keep this in between 7. So
to ask you about Kayson's point, though, do you believe that Luke Cornett also fits the Celtics culture, or no?
Nah, because he doesn't play.
Okay. He plays occasionally, a little bit. He's not going to play now because Porzingis is back, but
exactly. We don't like the bench guys. We don't like those guys that don't play. But Hauser's like.
What about Pritchard? Does he fit the Celtics culture?
I hate Peyton Pritchard. He does because I hate Peyton Pritchard. Absolutely, I hate Peyton Pritchard, man. Like Pat Bev normally pisses me off with how thinking he is so much better than everybody else and everybody should respect him whenever he steps on the court. And then how he kind of like Peyton Pritchard dogged my handshake. Like I was like, yeah, Peyton Pritchard, screw him. All right, next game of the slate. I mean, I was talking about this. What day was it when I was talking about Shea making that post about Steph? And I was like, man, it sucks that they don't play again for the rest of the season. And then the NBA gave me exactly what I needed. The Oklahoma City Thunder are welcoming the Golden State Warriors, On the road, +3 for Golden State. 236.5 is the total that actually went up from 235. Injury report for these two teams, and we have for the Golden State Warriors, Gary Payton II is out. He's going to be out for some extended time with that hand injury. Nothing to report for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I would like to just go ahead and, oh man, I really should. Can you pull Instagram up on the computer? Is Instagram a computer app?
No, but I can pull up something.
Let's see here. It's okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and I just want everybody to realize.
You can probably find it on Twitter.
Where is that post? Yeah. Where? Okay, here it goes. So Shea made a post when they went to play Golden State the last time, and he was like, I was feeling like E40 in the Bay, so I had to go dumb.
Bars.
And yeah, his captions, best captions in the league, by the way.
Yeah.
Best captions in the league. But so here we go. First clip, he's cooking Steph. I just want you to know. First clip, cook Steph behind the back.
That was a nasty behind the back move on Curry. He also had a block in there in the montage.
Yes. And then so the next clip is him blocking him on a 3. That's the next clip. He blocks him on a 3, goes, takes it back, lays it up on the other end. Go to Shay's Instagram and check this out. Like, and then he comes back. Now he's backing him down in the post, going to work, cooking Steph. Like every post was him cooking Steph. When I say Steph is going crazy today, there's nothing you can talk me out of, Steph. I don't even care about the side or the total. I really don't. Give me a Steph points ladder. Give me a Steph 3-point ladder. Steph, there's like you have 24 hours to respond. You have by the end of the night to respond to Shay's post. And you should have all the clips of you cooking him in this game ready for your post. You got to step down. When they go low, we go lower. Screw what Michelle Obama said. When they go low, we go lower. Steph, you need to go super low today and give him 50.
I'm on the over in this game because these teams never guard each other, ever. I want to pull up the numbers for the Warriors and the Thunder, but if you blindly have taken the over in every meeting for about the last 3 years, you're up a ton of money. To go through the last couple of games, earlier this year, they faced off in the in-season tournament. You remember that there was the controversial offensive goaltend where the Warriors eventually won on the Curry layup. That game ended up flying over the total. They played that game landed 280. They played 2 times since then. The game landed 237, and they went to overtime. Game landed 253. But the games before that, you had a game land 261, 265, 255, 248. So each of the last 7 meetings have just completely gone over this number. I'm on the over. I don't think either team's going to guard anybody. I do like the points for Steph, even without the extra motivation. OKC can't guard him. Like, it's just that simple. They can't guard this guy. So I think that Curry might go for 40. Shea might go for 35. If you want to do a same-game parlay and kind of do the star players 35 and work your way downward, I don't mind that. Clay maybe gets going in this game. We'll see what happens. But I like the over. I am going to lean to the Thunder, though. I just don't like this Golden State team, the way that they're currently constructed. And I think they need to make a trade or two. They're just not built to be competitive at all. And I think that the Thunder, with their athleticism, with their overall versatility, and their pace, I think can give the Warriors a problem. The Warriors had a hard time beating the Trailblazers without Ayton at home. That's crazy. Like, that's a fall from grace. I can't. Like, this team's just not very good. I'm going to lean OKC, but my favorite play is the over. I see a lot of points in this game for both teams.
I was right on that plus 12.5 with Portland. But, Scott, more trivia for you. Golden State is currently 8-12-1 against the spread this season. Would you like to guess what their road ATS record is?
How many road games did they play?
10.
They played 10?
Yes.
I'm going to say that they are 3-7.
They're 7-3.
My bad. Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. I tried.
Woo, they're 7-3, bro.
I thought you were setting me up because you were going to take OKC. I didn't realize you were going to take Golden State. So I misread that situation.
They cover on the road, man. I told you, bro. We're not taking them at home. We got to play them on the road. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what we got to do. Like, that's what's been happening. That's how we got to play it. It's not me making this up. I wish it wasn't me. I would love to back OKC here. I wish it wasn't me, but it's not me. It's Golden State.
I'm mainly backing the over. I think you'd agree with that.
Oh yeah. No, so last five games, all of them went over, and it didn't matter where they set the number at. It went over. It went over when it was 226. It went over when it was 236. It went over when it was 243. So it always goes over. So I'm with you on that. 100% is going to be points. But man, I got to back Golden State +3 here. They're playing a lot better on the road. When you look at the head-to-head, they've been able to get it done in OKC multiple times. Like, I think that this is a good spot in a series that has been actually back and forth and really, really good between these two teams. Yeah, I'm with you. Golden State on the road, that's where you back them this year. It was a fade last year, but you back them this year. So I'll take Golden State +3 to get it done. And I'm, again, Steph, all over Steph. Yep. All over Steph today. I wanted a game. And you know what? I think Shea thought that they weren't going to have another matchup, and that's why he posted it.
Can you still post that, though, when Curry hit a game winner on you like a month prior?
Yeah, because you cooked him that game. He did cook him.
It's the most recent cook. It's the most recent cook job, so I guess
the last performance. The last performance is the only thing that matters, man. Yeah, but he deserved to post it because he was cooking them. He deserved.
I think every time these teams play, I blindly take Golden State team total over, and they finish with like 125, 130 points. I don't see that changing in this game.
Yep, I'm with you as well. All right, and instead of Clay, I like Wiggins.
Okay.
Cleveland Cavaliers on the road going to play the Miami Heat, where Miami is catching 1.5 at home. 220.5 is the total. I assume Miami is catching 1.5 because these two teams played recently where the Miami Heat dogged them in Cleveland 129-96 as a 1.5 point dog. Now they're catching 1.5 at home. Before I just go ahead and make this a very, very easy handicap, injury report for these two teams, you have Evan Mobley questionable, Karis LeVert out. And for the Miami Heat, Bam is out, Hayward Highsmith is out, Duncan Robinson probable, Tyler Hero out for some extended time with that ankle injury. That's really Professor Glass. Like, we don't be talking about how much Tyler Hero really is Professor Glass, but I will bring more awareness to how much Tyler Hero actually really does get hurt every single year. Dog, you're getting Miami as a home dog. What? I know I shit on Miami as a favorite at home. I shit on Miami as a favorite at home. I tell you the numbers all the time. Miami as a home dog is an auto play.
This game is interesting to me because I was tempted a little bit by Cleveland because Cleveland was playing a lot better recently. I'm going to give them props. They've been very good recently. Having said that, Mobley was not a shoot-around, and I think that matters a lot. So I think I'm going to lean Miami with you. We're kind of playing with house money here because we gave out Miami against Toronto last time out, and that worked out well for us. So we're kind of rolling it over. But Spo and Miami thrive in these underdog roles all the time, just simply put. And I do think it's a good spot for them. I will point out once again, I called out Cleveland. I wanted to see more. They've shown it to me. They've been very good recently. So I will give Cleveland some props. They've been playing some good basketball. Mobley's very important to that team because he's a very good defensive player. Offensively, he could be better. Defensively, he's still very good. And I do question Jared Allen's effectiveness. Actually, he might have a great game. He might have a great game with Mobley not playing. So Jared Allen could have a big game here. I think I'm going to lean Miami. If Cleveland wins, would I be shocked? No. But Miami getting points at home is very appealing. I'm going to lean to Miami. I might come back to regret it, but Mobley being out I think is just too important to me. So I'm going to lean to Miami.
All right, first go around in the Max Strus revenge game. Max Strus went 2 for 6 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Now he's actually in Miami, and it's a little bit more of a revenge game here. I can be talked into it. I can be talked into it. Because they should really try to put up a better offensive showing than the 96 points that they could only score at home versus this team. What was that, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, give or take. They got buried.
So I could buy into Max Strus threes. I could. I'm going back to my guy. He keeps coming off the bench, and he keeps having good game after good game after good game after good game. Jaime Jaquez Jr., the next undrafted person. Hey, the next undrafted guy by the Heat. I mean, 15 his last time out. His prop was 11.5. Thank you for cashing that for me against Toronto. He had 11 the time before that. Listen to this game log: 24, 14, 18, 15, 22, 19, 6, 10, 17, 11, 20, 11. I mean, he continues to go off. And he gets in double figures. His prop is consistently around 11.5. Maybe it's at 12.5 now, maybe 13.5. They start to realize that, hey, this guy is really, really hooping. We need to move his prop up. But if not, I don't care. I'm still going to take it.
So, out of curiosity, if there were props available on Caleb Martin, would you be interested or out? Because he's been very good recently.
Yes. I mean, he has. I think I've now shifted all hype that I've had for Caleb Martin to Jaime Jaquez Jr., and I can't support two at once.
That's fine. I'm just pointing out Caleb Martin did have a very good game last time out against Toronto. To go through his numbers, I don't see props on him yet, but you might get posted since he's probably going to start in this game. Last game, though, 24 points, 12 rebounds against Toronto. He's been good. He's been good recently. I don't mind Martin points in this spot. But I do think Jared Allen double-double is worth a look, especially if Mobley doesn't play. Because Orlando Robinson's the starting center right now for Miami. He had a double-double last game. Not much offensive skill in terms of stretching the floor. So Jared Allen can kind of sit in the paint. And Miami, as a three-point shooting team, has some options. But most of the ball handlers aren't the greatest shooters on this team. They have three-point specialists for this team. I think Jared Allen's going to sit in the paint for the entire game and have a good game. So I don't mind.
So that's what I was thinking about the blocks. So that's what I was thinking about his blocks and the fact that his blocks are live because of exactly what you just said. This Miami team really isn't like a really too much jump shooting team. Like they're trying to get inside the paint. They're trying to score easy and run the score up like that. And so Jared Allen, I mean, you're not going to play half a block at, minus 238, but 1.5 at plus money. Yeah, give me that. I'll sweat that tonight. All right. Let's see here. Next game on the slate. Who do I have up here next? Oh, Minnesota Timberwolves on the road. Open up minus 6.5. Now it's minus 5.5. Playing the Memphis Grizzlies. 213.5 is total injury report for these two teams. And we have Jake McDaniels, Jordan McLaughlin, Jalen Clark, all out for Minnesota. You have Jake LaRuvia, doubtful. That's actually an upgrade for him. He was on IR. John's still suspended. He's got,
I think it's 4 games left, I think.
4 games? 4 or 5 games left, something like that. Still no Marcus Smart. Still no Luke Kennard. Still no Brandon Clark. You're not going to see Steven Adams at all. I made a pack earlier this season, Scott, and I think I've done pretty all right. Continue betting it, even though it looks ugly a lot of the time. But, I mean, it's been hitting. And that's back in Minnesota at home and fading them on the road. I mean, they're 10, 8, and 2 ATS overall, 3, 5, and 1 on the road. Just unable to really get anything going on the road. And it's been some bad road teams that they haven't been able to cover against. But those were larger numbers, and this is 5.5, under 2 possessions here. So, Scott, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to lean to Minnesota. I've had a pretty good read on this Memphis team recently. I had them against Dallas at plus 350. That got there. I laid points in the toilet bowl. I had them against Detroit. They won that game by 14. Shout out to Bane, who had 49 in that game. I think he also had 8 assists. Minnesota, we did like San Antonio last game against them, and Minnesota won the game. It was close. It was what I thought it was going to be. They did face off earlier this year in Memphis, and Minnesota did end up beating them by 22. I think Minnesota is just the better team, simply put. I recognize that Memphis has played better. This team is still 1-8 straight up at home. Like, they're just not a good home team at all. Minnesota, they've been fine, and I think that that's good enough for me. I'm going to lean Minnesota. Do I feel great about it? Not really, but since it's at 5.5 now, that line feels a little bit short. I'm going to go with Minnesota minus the 5.5. But it might not be easy, but I think it's going to be a 5.5. I think it's going to be 8-point win, 9-point win.
Okay. I mean, I do say that they were 3, 5, and 1. I got to admit, the last 2 road games they did cover. So they were 1, 5, and 1 before that, and now they're 3, 5, and 1. Yeah, I'll go with Minnesota. I think this is a short number.
I'm going to
They
trust
could
my
cover
reads
this.
on Memphis. I've had pretty good reads on this team. I'll go back to Minnesota.
If they burn me here, I'm gonna be sick. But yeah, I think they might. Maybe they've started to figure it out a little bit more. They're way better than this team.
Well,
Like,
there's a way to
absolutely
meet in the
better.
middle. You can take Bane points because if they're going to cover, then Bane's going for 30. So you can kind of meet in the middle.
I don't even know if maybe with Jalen McDaniels out, he can, but I don't know. Anthony Edwards is taking a little bit more of a defensive approach this season. So
my point is I don't trust Jaren Jackson against Gobert and Towns. So I think that Bane's going to have a big game. That's kind of my point.
yeah. Nah, give me Minnesota. You're right. Give me Minnesota. Okay. That was tough.
It's a really low total.
213.5. It probably still goes under.
Probably, but that's a very low number.
It probably still goes under. Minnesota. If Minnesota covers this, it's probably because Memphis couldn't score.
Yeah, I'll lean under. I think Minnesota brings it defensively. So
I might bet this under.
Okay.
Yeah, Minnesota's been really good defensively. Bring that defensive intensity on the road. They held them to 97 points. What was it, week before, that they went in there and played Memphis. Memphis,
so.
2-7.
Memphis scored 97 in the first meeting.
2-7 on the road. I mean, at home for Memphis. 2-7 to the over, so 7-2 to the under. Yeah, I'll go under. All right. Anything else you like in this one, or
no,
anybody else
really.
in chat likes in this one?
No,
Nope.
I'm good.
Don't sleep on Stru's blocks and rebounds. I missed that. Let me look up Stru's blocks and see how that.
I like Stru's rebounds. He's been good at rebounding. Truth is, he hasn't been as good at rebounding since Mitchell came back. Mitchell's kind of been taking a lot of those boards. But with Mobley being out, there should be more rebounds available for everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right. Chicago Bulls. And what is like DeMar DeRozan's up millionth revenge game. Open up -2. They're currently -2.5, actually. 224.5 is the total. They are on the road, laying 2.5 against the San Antonio Spurs. Injury report for these two teams, and I have for the where are they at? I hate when these things don't get over. There we go. San Antonio Spurs, nothing. It looks like, however, Pop is changing the lineup again. It was last game, he replaced Jeremy Sohan and Malachi Branham with Devin Vassell and Cedi Osman. I don't know why Vassell went to the bench, but, it is what it is. Now I can throw my Devin Vassell 6-Man of the Year ticket in the trash, and I can go pick up my Devin Vassell Most Improved ticket again. And for the Chicago Bulls, we have Alex Caruso, probable, Torian Craig, probable, Zach LaVine's IR. Can you please take Lonzo Ball's name off the injury report? Jesus Christ. We get it. We freaking get it. All right. Devin Vassell's back in the starting lineup. Spurs money line.
Just going to play that sound drop. It feels worthy,
8-14? Yeah. I mean, the Bulls look worse than 8-14.
Oh, they've actually looked better without LaVine, but the main reason why I played the drop, one, because San Antonio has the quietest double-digit losing streak I've ever seen. Because everyone's focused on Detroit. They aren't even mentioning that San Antonio has lost about 15 straight. That just has not come up in conversation. So yeah, San Antonio's lost 15 straight. But the reason why I'm playing it, the Spurs are 1-9 at home. The Bulls are 1-8 on the road. So this is a full toilet bowl.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Full-on toilet bowl. With that being said, take points in toilet bowl. Spurs money line.
I'm taking Chicago in this one. They're really bad on the road, but I think they're better without LaVine. I think LaVine was, I don't want to say a cancer on this team, but they look, even the simplest definition, they look happier to be on the court with each other, with LaVine not on the court. And I did pick Chicago last game against the Hornets. They ended up getting there for me. The Spurs are a team that I think is abysmal. Chicago, I don't know how bad they are. They're not good, I'll tell you that much. But with LaVine not playing, there has been some renewed pride on this team. I'm going to lean to Chicago. Do I like it a lot? No. If you bet on this game, you might want to go to a meeting. But I'm going to lean to Chicago -2.5. I like what I've seen more from them recently compared to San Antonio.
All right. Let's see here.
And I did lay points in the toilet bowl last time out with Memphis, and it worked. So occasionally you can lay points in the toilet bowl. I'm going to lean to Chicago.
All right. Hold on. Give me a second. 1, See,
JR, I know that you're saying you love Pop and you think he deserves better. Once he told the fans to stop booing Kawhi in the middle of a game, he lost all my sympathy.
All right, 1-800 Gambler, because I'm 100% betting this game. Devin Vassell, lead me to the promised land.
Player props are a separate category. I meant actual side total, you know.
Oh,
there's always value in player props.
I'll bet Devin Vassell 25 and a win.
Okay.
I think that's live. Alex Caruso is going to have his hands full with Keldon Johnson. He's probably going to go for Keldon Johnson. They're going to leave Devin Vassell alone. And even so, I like Devin Vassell with Caruso. I think Caruso's a little overrated. Yeah.
I think he's overrated. I think Caruso's very good.
Well, he's all right.
I'll give him props. He turned into a good three-point shooter. He could never shoot for the first 5 years of his career. He's actually become a good three-point shooter.
I think he just hustles, to be honest. I think he's just hustles.
That's all you need sometimes.
I don't think the talent defensively is there to the level that people try to make it seem. I think he just hustles.
He fits the Boston Celtics culture, and he's never played for the Celtics. But
hey man, y'all heard Scott said that. I didn't say that. Scott said that.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Hey man, y'all heard Scott said that one. All right, 224.5. That's actually dropped, which is somewhat surprising. Give me a Spurs team total over. That's all I'm playing. I don't trust Chicago. Chicago on the road.
Chicago has won 3 straight, though. Beat Milwaukee, beat New Orleans, beat Charlotte. They're all at home, so I will point out that they're still really bad on the road. But beating Milwaukee and New Orleans, that's not bad. Like I think Chicago can actually score in this game.
So, I don't know. Beating New Orleans looked a lot better before last night.
You taking any DeRozan props, or how many revenge games until it no longer becomes a concept? He might be 40 over total at this point.
Bro. This concept's over. I don't care when DeRozan's playing the Raptors or the Spurs anymore.
Might be the 40th time he's had a revenge game at this point.
Yeah, I swear I'm so good on it. I'm really good on DeRozan.
We need to make a rule for revenge games. Like 2 years? 2 years maybe?
No, but see, then you have the DeAndre Jordan and freaking Reggie Jacksons that come out of nowhere and think they're Lob City again.
Okay,
it's
fine.
Annoying. I do agree. Kobe White is balling out. And Kobe White, without Zach LaVine, is somebody that you should get behind. 100%.
Pause.
You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right. Houston Rockets are playing the Denver Nuggets for the 100th time this season. And the Nuggets are at home laying 9. Opened up at 8. Now it's up to 9. 221 is the total here. That's actually up half a point from 220.5. Injury report for these two teams. And for the Rockets, Jock Landale is out. Amen Thompson's still out. Victor Oladipo, I'm telling you, he's never putting that jersey on. And for the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray probable. That's about it. Ken Carr's still on IR. Last time out, I mentioned how Houston won the last 3 games against Denver, and I felt like that streak was over and Denver was going to bury him. They pushed 134-124. So somehow, some way, Houston still is kind of a thorn in this Denver Nuggets team side. What are you doing here? Denver -9 at home.
I can't take Houston on the road. Denver kind of screwed me on the last episode. It looked like I was going to sweep, and then Denver choked away that game against the Clippers, which they probably should have won. Jokic was terrible. He was 9-32 from the floor. He was atrocious. But he still had a triple-double. They were not very good in that game, though. Houston's 0-8 on the road. Like I can't do it. I just can't. I want to make a case for Houston, but some teams, we saw with Golden State last year, we've seen it with teams year in, year out. Some teams just don't know how to play basketball on the road. They just can't do it. So I'm going to lean to Denver. I think it's a good spot for them to get back on track after blowing that game to the Clippers. It's a good bounce back spot against a road team that doesn't show up for any road games. Give me the Nuggets to win this game by double digits.
Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't show up for it.
Sorry, they pushed that one time. Sorry, they pushed that.
I mean, yes, 0-8 straight up. 3-4-1 against the spread. Like they're hovering.
Okay,
they're hovering. Like it's not that bad.
But with Murray being back and with Gordon being back and Jokic there, yeah, it's good.
No, I'm with you. I'll go chalk, and we can go Nuggets here. But if we lose, I'm not going to be surprised.
Okay.
All right, next game on the slate. We got Sacramento going to play the Phoenix Suns. Kings are laying 2 on the road. 235 is total in this one. Injury report. And I see here for the Kings, we got Chris Duarte, questionable. Kobe Jones out. Alex Len, IR. Didn't know Alex Len was still really.
Would have been an Alex Len revenge game, too. What a shame.
It would have. What a shame. We're talking about Alex Len revenge games. What kind of podcast are you listening to if they're not talking about Alex Len revenge games?
It's a running joke, but he did used to play for Phoenix, if you don't remember that.
Yep. All right. Grayson Allen and Kevin Durant are out. It's the Devin Booker show today because Bradley Beal doing Wizards things.
Oh, he's hanging out with Oladipo,
Yeah. Like, they're just chill. He might not. I got more faith in him.
To be fair, Beal has played like 2 or 3 games this year. So there's that.
At least it's no
whatever.
longer Photoshop of a jersey, of a Phoenix jersey on Bradley Beal. It's no longer Photoshop. We still have a Photoshop Houston Rockets jersey on Victor Oladipo. All right.
Keeping a bag's a full-time job. So Beal's been busy,
Man, Road Kings, man. Every time I fade Road Kings, they make me pay.
I guess
Every
what
time
I'll ask you with this, though, to start off with just a basic talking point. Do you think Phoenix can actually get up and play a big game missing 2 starters, including Durant?
Yes.
Because we can talk about Sacramento on the road being a bit hit or miss here and there. It really comes down to, do you think Phoenix has enough scoring depth without Durant to actually match the Sacramento offense? That's what the game comes down to.
Scoring depth? No. But
do you think Booker can go for 40
enough?
or 50?
Yeah, are they top heavy enough? Yes, because Devin Booker is that good.
Yeah,
so
he is.
I think they're top heavy enough. Do I think they have the depth? No.
I think Grayson Allen's actually a good player on this team. He's shooting north of 46% from 3 this year. He's been that good for that team. But Durant's averaging 31 and like 7 and 6. He's been nuts. But both teams are off of pretty rough losses in the in-season tournament. You saw the Suns lose because of that timeout call by Reeves, whatever you want to call it, where they lost the game. They might have lost anyway, but still, they didn't win the game. And the Kings were up a lot early against New Orleans. They lost that game. They can't beat New Orleans, so I'm kind of throwing that game in the garbage because they just can't beat this damn team. They're good against other teams, though, on the road. Beat Minnesota, beat the Lakers by 20. They're pretty good on the road when they're not playing New Orleans. So I'm going to lean Kings here. I think it's a good spot. We know Mike Brown's a no-nonsense coach. I think he's pissed after how that game unfolded midweek against New Orleans at home. I think they come out. These teams don't like each other either. There's always a lot of trash talk when Booker's involved. Fox is going to trash talk as well. I think the Kings bring it in this game. Booker basically needs to score 35 or 40 for Phoenix to have a shot, in my opinion. It's a lot to ask. I'm going to lean to Sacramento in this spot.
Road Kings gave the Minnesota Timberwolves their first home loss of the season last week. So
and they beat the Lakers at home. That's a tough place to play. They buried them in that game.
Yeah, man. I just, whenever I fade Road Kings, I regret it, man.
Home Suns aren't good. I think the home Suns are 4 and 6 ATS at home. I think they're not a great home team.
Let me tell you right here. They are. Oh, I had it. Yeah, you're right. 4 and 6 ATS. 5 and 5 straight up.
There's a couple of props that I like in this game, but I'm going to lean Kings in this spot.
What you like? Talk about it.
I like Eric Gordon, which Fahrenheit mentioned down below. With Grayson being out, Gordon's going to get more shot attempts, just simply put, because he's the main three-point shooter left on this team. So I think Gordon's in one for a big game if Phoenix is going to score. Sabonis is interesting because his point prop's at 18.5, which is very low at first glance. Nurkic has been great against him. Like, Sabonis really doesn't do much against Nurkic because Sabonis isn't a great jump shooter, and Nurkic weighs a lot more than Sabonis does, so he's going to have a hard time actually getting into the low block. Sabonis assists, I think, is worth a look. Maybe rebounds, but points, I think Fox and Booker go at it. Just simply put, I think Fox and Booker each score 30.
Holy crap, Scott. You are on to something.
Yeah, Sabonis has been terrible against Nurkic. He's been really bad. I will come to Sabonis' defense, though. He was really bad against Valanciunas, too, but he had 2 good back-to-back games against Valanciunas, so maybe he turned the corner. But we'll see.
All right. So we'll go from when Sabonis was in Indiana, because I think that's when he started playing his best ball.
It's not even close.
Versus
he's been really bad.
versus Nurkic, 3, 9, 6, 7, 23, 15, 13.
Yeah. But once again, his numbers against Valanciunas were bad, but he had 2 great games back-to-back, including a triple-double last game out.
I was just telling somebody he sucks.
I'm assuming we're in agreement here that Booker and Fox are probably each going for 30 or 35.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it feels like one of those games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's one of those ones where you take the high on the 2 top players. Maybe not the next best player, because the next best player is
No, you take some threes. Take like Eric Gordon threes, Monk.
Matter of fact,
here,
Fox, Booker, Gordon, Monk.
Yeah, that's what I'm in for.
Yeah,
I'm not betting on Harrison Barnes. No chance in hell I'm betting on Barnes. So yeah, I'll take Malik Monk.
You just jinx Harrison Barnes into a 20-point game tonight.
Good. I want the Kings to win the game, but I'm not a Barnes guy.
All right, let's see.
I like the over in the game.
Yeah, me too. That was without being said. Okay, we got.
I think Booker triple-double, by the way, is worth a look at 17-1. He's had double-digit rebounds in 2 straight games. Durant's out, so the ball's going to be in Booker's hands the entire game. 17-1.
That takes away a bunch of rebounds with Durant out too.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue it takes away some assists as well, but the ball's in his hands the entire time. Triple-double, 17-1. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Dallas Mavericks on the road, going to play the Portland Trailblazers. Mavericks open up -7.5. They are now -8. 231.5 is total injury report for those 2 teams. And we got for the Dallas Mavericks, Grant Williams is out. Josh Green, IR. Max Kleber, IR. We've got for the Blazers, Malcolm Brogdon, questionable. DeAndre Ayton, doubtful. John McGrant out. Ish Wainwright out.
Luka,
I mean,
triple-double. Yeah. He had a 29-point triple-double and a half last game?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did he get the triple-double by the half, or was he just like really, really close?
No, he had a triple-double at halftime. He straight up had 29, 10, and 10 at halftime. It was
okay.
Utah lost by 50. So...
I remember seeing he had 29, 9, and 9 with like 2 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, okay, he almost had a triple-double at half.
Yeah, he got there. I mean, Utah lost by 50, so it's kind of a fake basketball game, but he finished with like 40, 10, and 11. I feel like you want to take Portland here. I feel like you're tempted by Portland getting 8.5 with Simons back in the lineup.
No, not really.
Really?
No.
Give Golden State a run for their money. I know Golden State's worse than Dallas, but still.
Yeah, but Dallas has always been a better road team than a home team. Like always been a better road team than a home team. 6-4 on the road ATS this season. 10-10 on the season, so that makes them 4-6 at home. Portland 2-5 at home, regardless of them catching 100 points as they always are. They're still 2-5 ATS at home.
To be fair,
the Portland thing was
aren't
fun.
they a different team with Simons though? At least they have somebody as a guard who you can trust to actually score the basketball. They're kind of a different team.
Yeah,
they're not good, but they're better by a decent amount.
Yeah, I think they're better. I just don't think it. I mean, now that no Grant Williams, like, why is the Mavericks?
It's because they won by 50. I just think the number's inflated because they beat a fake Utah team by 50.
Yeah.
There was no Laurie. There was no Clarkson. They were using a D squad in that game. They basically punted the game. I think Luka's going to go nuts. Like, I think Lucas might score 40 again. He has dad strength. He's been incredible. So that's kind of the balancing act there. 8.5 on the road, though. It's a lot for a Dallas team we've been skeptical to lay points with in the past.
Yeah. I mean, you make a good point. It is a lot, but I'm going to just go Dallas, man. I would
rather bet Luka 35 or 40 than a lay 8.5.
I'd rather just take the over.
Okay. Yeah. I like the over too in this game.
Yeah, I'd just rather take the over. Like, I think Dallas is going to run and gun this entire game. That's why I'm afraid, because I think they could go up 10-20 easily by just how fast they're playing and scoring, because they take it out all their defensive players. Like, you don't have freaking Grant Williams, and so you're going to see more Tim Hardaway Jr. You're going to see more, like, scoring coming off the bench. Maybe we see Jaden Hardy get in here and get a bunch of minutes. Like, I just think they're going to run and gun. I like Dallas. It's a slight lean. Nothing confident at all. But the over, I feel really good about that over. I just think both of these two teams are going to be in the 115s rather easily.
I like the over as well, but I am intrigued. I'll use that word. I'm intrigued by the Simons and Sharp pairing. I'm intrigued. So I'll lean to Portland.
Yeah. All right. Any props put behind that?
Yeah, Luka 30-point triple-double probably. Like I think he's going to have a good game. I like Simons threes. Simons, for a guy who really didn't play much basketball for the last couple of weeks, he looked really good against Golden State. He looked really good. I think he's going to have a good game. Sharp's in line for a pretty good game as well. There's some area for rebounding in this game because Ayton's not healthy and Dallas can't really rebound. Is it just Lively? Is there anybody on Portland you like for rebounds? There is some value on a rebounding guy. I'm just trying to figure out the right angle.
Yeah, I don't think I know it. I wish I knew it, but I don't.
It might be Lively. It could be Luka, which helps the triple-double angle. But somebody's going to have to rebound for these teams.
Yeah, and it might be Lively. Lively, you get those big centers, and they typically aren't the best rebounders because they're focused on shot blocking, but it probably could be Lively. All right, let's move on. We got one more game. We've been here for an hour, almost an hour and a half now.
We'll finish before an hour 30, so we're fine.
All right, let's go. We got the Los Angeles Clippers on the road going to play the Utah Jazz. Clippers are laying 7.5. Whoa, I lost my – wow. Now it's clicking on everything but what I needed to. All right, Clippers are laying 7.5. 224.5 is total injury report for these two teams, and I have for the Utah Jazz. Jordan Clarkson is questionable. Kelly Olynyk is questionable. Lauri Markkanen is out for the Clippers. Nothing to report other than, Mason Plumlee and Brandon Boston Jr. out for a while. I mean, everybody knows what I'm doing. What are you doing?
For this one, I'm going to lean Clippers. I know it's a good spot for Utah, historically speaking. At home, I get it, but they're not as bad as they were last game because Clarkson didn't play. We'll see if he suits up. If Clarkson's out, this is one of the worst teams in the league. They lost by 50. It was embarrassing. They could argue they get up at home and they play a decent game. The Clippers got up and beat Denver, but I think Clippers should be motivated anyway because they lost the last game in Utah, and a game they probably should have won. I'm on the Clippers. I don't like being on the Clippers, but this Utah team's a laughingstock at the moment, so I'm going to lean to the Clippers.
Laughing stock is probably the wrong word because I think the Clippers are a laughing stock as well. All this talent, you're 10-10 right now.
It's on pause for now because they beat Denver, but yes, they're a laughing stock for different reasons.
You're still 10-10 with all this talent. You're a laughing stock.
Okay, that's fair.
You got to get other fun. Maybe they're not a laughing stock if they win this game, but give me Utah plus 7.5. It's really not anything of Utah. I think Utah freaking sucks, but they are 8-2 ATS at home, so I got to at least play that angle. And I'm not betting Clippers. I'm not betting Clippers. All right.
I'm just going to do it because Utah, I thought, would be a massive step-back team from last year, and they're abysmal without Lauri and Clarkson, and there's just too much going on.
I'm not going to lie. I will say this, though. If Utah does cover this game.
If Utah wins this game, Ty Lue should be fired on the spot. That's all I'm saying.
Well, no. Yeah, 100%. But if they cover this game, I think I'm just going to back Utah at home forever. And then
that's fair.
Just fade them on the road. Because they're 11-10 ATS, but 8-2 at home. So that makes them 3-2 on the road. No, 3-8 on the road. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 3-8 on the road. Yeah. If Utah covers this game, I'm just going to blindly take Utah at home and fade them on the road.
I'm hoping the Clippers get up for this game after losing to Utah earlier in the year. I think it's a pretty good spot for the Clippers. If you like Utah, I don't mind first half or first quarter because after losing by 50 and Hardy's quotes in the post game, they're going to have to show up with some purpose in this game. So maybe Utah early and Clippers late.
All right. Let's see here. Chat is rolling. Chat is booming. I seen up to 80 people in here at one point. Got to keep it going. YouTube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. Come rock with us for the live listen. All right. Let's get into our lock and dog and drop an underdog lineup real quick for my lock.
Curious where you're going to go with this one. I liked a lot more dogs than usual on the card today.
Yeah. Miami at home is just an autoplay, man. It just feels like an autoplay. I'm kind of scared, but it feels like an autoplay, especially with I forget it, yo. Miami got me the last time. It's Miami as a dog at home. We bet Miami in that spot. It's no question. We bet Miami in that spot. So I'm going to take Miami plus 1.5. That's my lock. I'm not even going to question it. I'm not going to give myself a chance to question it. For my dog, A Devin Vassell and Spurs parlay would be nice, but
Just take
man,
Curry
that
to
Spurs
score
team lost
35.
15 in the row.
Just take Curry
Nah,
35 already. Just do it.
Nah, so I was looking there, but I'm not gonna just do that because that's not. What's Curry 35 like plus 120?
No, his default line's 28.5, so it's going to be a
Oh, really?
massive number. Yeah.
Oh, oh, his
It's
30 is plus 120.
Yeah, let me just quickly
Eh,
see what it is. 30. It's plus 225 or plus 230 actually for 35.
35 is plus 230. What's 30 in a win?
That I don't have in front of me.
I
Let me
am
quickly pull
pulling it
that
up
up.
right now, so you don't even have to worry about it, sir.
It's going to be north of 2-1. So
Yeah, but I just want to know which one's better.
yeah.
So we got, let's see here, Steph. 30 and a win is plus 260. Yeah, give me Steph 30 and a win. Plus 260. I mean, I'm sorry, Shay. You're my guy. You know you're my guy. You're my guy. Like, you know it. You've listened to the show. I've been on this train of telling people to bet Shay every single night since, like, when I hopped on this show 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. You can't do that to Steph, man. I'm sorry. 30 and a win for Steph plus 260. That's my dog, my lock, Miami plus 1.5. Scott, over to you.
All right. So for my lock, I'm going to go with the over in the Warriors game at 236. Every meeting for the last 2-3 years has had at least 237 points. These games usually break the 240s. I don't see much changing. Golden State is still not a great defensive team this year. Offensively, they could be better, but OKC doesn't really guard anybody either. The pace should be crazy. I'm on the over in this game. I see a lot of points being scored. For my dog, I wanted to go player prop, but I'm wondering who I want to go with. But I do think the total in the Wizards game is pretty telling. The fact that it's 40 points higher than when the first game landed. So I'm going to go with the guy who's been in great form lately. I'm going to take Mikal Bridges. I'm going to take him 30-plus points at plus 185.
Ooh, that was random because I feel like we didn't mention his name at all this show.
He's just been very good. And Cam Thomas, I don't know what that was against the Hawks, but I know Mikal's going to bring it every game. So give me Mikal 30-plus.
All right. Anything else for the people before we get up out of here? Oh, wait,
No, not really.
Lineup.
Yeah, a lot of games. We'll talk about the underdog lineup right now, but a lot of games should be fun.
Okay, so let me go in here and let me get Steph. 28 and a half. Or do we want to take the 4.5 3-pointers made? What?
We'll go with Steph threes. Why not?
All right.
Assuming you're not allowed to take both, right? You can't take both?
Nah, you can only do one.
That's what I thought.
Player.
Okay.
So Steph, higher, 4.5 3-pointers made. Let's go get Mikal. Higher, 25.5 points.
I'm assuming you co-sign that because the Wizards don't guard anybody.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we got one more. Julius has good games against Celtics.
I mean, I wanted Jared Allen, but I'm assuming they don't have his props up because no book has his props up.
Nope, he's here. Double.
Really?
We can get a double.
They have double?
Yeah, they have his double.
Sure. I mean, I think you'll agree with it with Mobley probably not playing.
Yeah, I like it.
If you miss shoot around, there's got to be a 70% chance you don't play.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mobley's going to suit up. Yeah, Jared Allen.
All right, there we go. We have Stephen Curry, Stephen Curry, 4.5 3-pointers made. Higher. Mikal Bridges, 25.5 points. Higher. Jared Allen, half a double. Higher. Put that in underdog. $100 gets you $600. Unless you do the insurance. You can do the insurance and get $300. And then if
it's not our style.
Huh?
It's not our style.
Yeah, it's not our style. Who wants their money back for getting 2-3? Just give me I want all. I want it all. So 6-1, $100 gets you $600. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN for all new customers at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Shout out to the chat that was booming today. They had props. They had everything. Everything was going. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us. Make sure that you all like the video on the way out. And for anybody else that's coming into this, make sure you like the video. Leave a comment. Do all of that stuff before you dip up out of here. And for everybody that's listening to us through your ears, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast, just going to end it like this. Hey, man, if all 70 of y'all want to hop over to NFL Gambling Podcast, like right now, and we're about to go through the afternoon game slate, y'all can do that. But I know you won't, so it's okay. We're out of here.